I was doing some thinking, and two of my favorite shoes of 2026 are extremely similar. They have nearly the same foam, they have nearly the same drop, they have nearly the same weight, and they're from different brands. Today I ran a 22-mile double day to compare the New Balance SC Rebel version 1 to the Topo Specter 3. The way I tested these two shoes today was 13.1 in the morning in the Topo Specter 3. It was a pretty relaxed pace, and then it started raining uncontrollably and got really wet, so I slowed down a decent amount. Was very grumpy this morning on that run. And in the afternoon, I took the Super Comp Rebel version 1 for 9 miles in the 85-degree boiling humidity of the Rochester summer, which we're finally getting this week. There are definitely some ride characteristics that I would like to discuss between these two, but before we get to that, the most critical part of this comparison is just how similar their specs and materials are. First, we'll go over stack. They're both 40 in the heel. The Topo Specter 3 is 35 in the forefoot. The New Balance SC Rebel is 36 in the forefoot for a 4mm drop. So 5mm drop, 4mm drop, basically the same. They both have a pretty similar structured mesh. Both fit fairly snugly across the midfoot. The volume on the SC trainer is a little bit lower than on the Topo. Both have an ATPU midsole. They feel very similar underfoot. And both weigh roughly 225 grams. They're very nearly the same weight. In fact, the main difference between the two is only that the SC Rebel has a plastic plate where the Spectre 3 does not. From a specs and materials perspective, these are very nearly identical shoes with very similar technology, and they ride also very similarly, which we'll come to in a few minutes here. But before we do that, we need to talk about the fit between the two. And this is actually a really important thing to compare the two because they fit very similarly, but they're in different sizes. So the Topo Specter 3, I have in a size 9.5. The SC Rebel, I have in a 10. And before I pressed record, I was looking at these shoes in profile on the table, and I was trying to line them up. And when I line them up, you guys tell me, but are they not the same exact length? And even if you're looking at it from the top, these are lined up. If anything, the Spectre 3 is a little bigger, and that's the shoe that's in a 9.5. Like, the whole profile and footprint of it is, if anything, slightly bigger. So I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know how there could be such a discrepancy in sizing, or if it's just a sense of perception thing that I have going on because of the width in the Spectre 3 being so much more wide. Whatever it is, they each fit in the size that I bought them in. The Rebel is small for a size 10, for sure. It fits much closer to a size 9.5. But I'm happy with it in a 10, but it's on the edge of being too small, even in the larger of my two sizes. That's just for consumer advice, just be mindful that maybe this is worth trying on in a store to see if it's in between sizes for you, or if the size that you normally get is what would work. Now we're going to talk about the ride between the two of these, and this is where it gets spicy, because it's actually not that spicy. They ride so similarly. There are some differences, but they're very nuanced differences, and it comes down to the platedness in the SC Rebel. It does feel snappier. It has a little bit more oomph, and it has a little bit more urgency to the ride. Like, there's a firmer, more direct feel to the SC Rebel than the Spectre 3 that I can't quite put my finger on, other than it must be related to the platedness. You know, when you get back from a run in a carbon and your legs are a little bit more like rocked, a little more shattered, a little like more fatigued basically from the plate, and not in a maybe muscular way, but there's some residual vibrational energy stored in your legs from the plate. I don't really know if what I'm saying is making sense, but I have a sensation similar to what I just described to you all when I get back from a run in a carbon. I was getting a little bit more of that in the SC Rebel than I would in the Specter 3 because this does not have a plate, and that does not happen to me in non-plated shoes. It's a very peculiar sensation and specific type of fatigue. They're both very comfortable, and the foam is very similar. If anything, I would say the Spectre 3 is a little softer, but again, I don't know if that's the foam or if it's the lack of the plate that's causing it to feel softer. It also feels like the pace band is leaning towards the slower end on the Spectre 3, not slower end of total pace, but between these two, this seems to have a more relaxed, less urgent ride to it. Now, that doesn't make it a slouch. It's quicker than a lot of shoes that I run in regularly. Probably a little quicker feeling than the Mizuno Neo Vista 3, but maybe not quite as quick feeling as stuff like the Evo SL or the Dynafish Xiaoyan. Maybe in the same conversation as the Red Hair 9 Ultra. This is all for the Spectre 3. The SC Rebel feels a little bit quicker than that camp of shoe. If you've run in the Evo SL extensively and you get that sense of urgency to the stride of the Evo SL, there's something similar to that going on in the SC Rebel. It wants you to run faster than you necessarily want to, or don't want to. Maybe you really want to run fast, then the stars are going to align for you in this shoe and it's going to egg you on. But if you don't want to run fast in that particular moment, you're still going to be egged on by the SC Rebel. So it's still pretty subtle, though. There's not a lot between the ride that's different. There's maybe a touch more snappiness in the SC Rebel and a touch more urgency to the pace. If I were to run a relaxed long run, I would lean towards the Spectre 3. If I were to run a long run with a workout in it, it would be a pretty immediate no-brainer going with the SC Rebel. So they're different. They're just different shoes for different purposes. I think you're going to get more breadth of use out of the Spectre 3. It's more of a trainer, like a tried and true trainer, even though it has an incredibly exciting foam. It's a very exciting, fun, and bouncy foam. And it is a little bit more unstable as well than the SC Rebel. The SC Rebel, the plate in here does a great job of stabilizing the foam. I don't know that it was particularly necessary to have a plate in the SC Rebel, and perhaps we'll see a plateless version, sort of like how the Puma DB8 Pure and the DB8 exist. I could see that actually working for the SC Rebel. Frankly, they're incredible. Both are incredible shoes. They're incredible riding shoes, and I really love both of them. It's a great day of running when you take out two absolute bangers. They have different niche, use cases for sure. It's going to come down to you which one you're really looking for in a shoe right now. I also think they could both do what both of them are doing. So I don't think you need both of these shoes in a rotation. If you want a fun, bouncy ATPU training shoe, it is going to be down to your preferences between the two, which one to pick. I wouldn't get both. I think they're both better than the Mega Blast as an overall comprehensive package, and you can't go wrong with either of them, is what I'm saying. But the real big discussion around these two shoes is not so much their performance, but their price. SC Rebel, $200. Topo Spectre 3, $170. $30 difference. Is there a $30 difference between these two shoes? There are two ways to answer that question. If you are really deep into the stats and into the different performance qualities of running shoes and you have a massive rotation, I could see there being a $30 difference between the shoes, only in the sense of if you're trying to buy a specific type of ride. I don't think that one is better than the other. It's really hard to say that the SC Rebel is $30 better of a shoe. But if you were looking for a faster super trainer with a plate in it that has a bit more snap than your average super trainer, then you would be in the market for something like this. Or maybe you would be looking towards the Mega Blast for a little bit more explosive bounce, right? So you're now in a different tier of shoes, but it's only really a pricing tier if you're chasing like a specific, very specific type of ride characteristic, where I think the Topo Specter 3 could do everything that the SC Rebel could do, but maybe just not quite everything. But the same could be applied backwards to the SC Rebel, where I think it could do everything the Topo Specter 3 could do, but just maybe not quite everything as well, because it's not going to be as nice for a relaxed run. It is more urgent. It's just different pace bands, really, and different comfort levels, where I do think the Spectre 3 is more comfortable, and I do think the SC Rebel is faster. Is the $30 difference warranted here? It's going to be very individual on that one, and I can't answer it for you. And even for myself, I really can't answer it. I wish desperately that New Balance had not priced this at $200, because that is high for a plastic plated trainer, but it is very, very good. And I don't want to lead you all astray in saying that it's not good when it is. Where the Mega Blast to me is worth less than $200 because of all of the issues that it had with the upper, and it like destroyed 3 of my toenails on my most recent run in it. And neither of these shoes have any of those glaring flaws and perform very similarly in my eyes to the Asics Mega Blast. So when we're looking at the ATPU Super Trainer conversation, we have some really good options right here, and it's about, I think, what you think is valuable for the experience you're chasing. The second price conversation is the SC Rebel maybe an alternative to a carbon-plated racing shoe for beginner runners? Yeah, I kind of think it could be. And I don't think it's going to be a very quick racing shoe, but I think it's going to be much more comfortable than pretty much any carbon on the market for first-time marathoners. So I think that slots this into that race-ready category, where the Topo Specter 3, I don't think it's like totally eliminated from that conversation, but this is probably going to be for people that are looking for a shoe with a plate in it for their first marathon, versus if you want to run in a trainer for your first marathon, this is a very good option. There's a good chance that I run the Erie Marathon with my buddy in the Topo Specter 3, or potentially also the SC Rebel. These are both really good options for sort of the 4 to maybe down to 3:30 pace span for the marathon. You won't have a problem reaching those paces in either of these shoes, so I would recommend both of them for a first-time marathoner, genuinely. And this could double as the shoe that does everything in your training block. So the Topo Specter 3 is truly a do-it-all shoe, and I think that I think that the SC Rebel can do the very same thing. I know I'm not being very helpful right now, but it comes down to what experience you're actually chasing, whether or not that price is going to be worth it for you if you're a first-time marathoner. That's who I think would be looking at either of these shoes as an option. Either the people that are chasing ATPU goodness and find new foams to be like crack, and then the new marathoners that are looking at maybe less expensive plated but not top shelf carbon option. I really think that the SC Rebel is a valid option there. A really tight comparison for you all, and both of these shoes are front of mind for me for shoe of the year. That's why this is so hard, because they both do so much so well, are both so comfortable, and are both so versatile that it's really hard to decide between the two of these for me. I love both of them, and that's my word. Thank you all very much for watching the comparison between the SC Rebel version 1 and the Topo Specter 3. And as always, stay in motion.